Ooh la la, what do we have here, ladies and gentlemen? Chelsea are looking at a deal for Atletico Madrid's Joao Felix on a loan, perhaps. Oh, let's talk about this.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you to each and every one of you guys that have sent lovely, lovely messages all throughout YouTube community page or through Twitter DMs, Instagram DMs, whichever way you found possible to get through to me. Thank you so much for reaching out and wishing me a quick recovery. And it's been a hellacious 4 days straight where COVID, oh my days, this thing is dangerous. There's no doubt about that. I can understand why so many people got affected. In fact, people in my within my family that got affected by it as well. We've lost family members during the COVID time, and this time me having it, and this is me, someone who's had 3 vaccinations, 3 shots of this. Third one was quite a while back, earlier this year, but my days, I've never felt anything like that. That fever was unbelievable. 2 days straight, I was suffering. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm back, still slowly recovering, not 100% fit, but I thought, no, I need to connect back with you guys. I miss you guys too much. And obviously Chelsea game just around the corner. Want to get back into the mojo, but yeah, no, I'm feeling better, much better, more than you can believe, as Matisse would say, than some previous days than before. But yeah, let's get on with this, ladies and gentlemen. First up, some big blockbuster news, which we've been talking about in recent times in our channel, and I've discussed this with you guys. Some of you guys are very keen with this. Some of you guys are a little bit cautious with it. Some guys don't want it, and I want to talk a little bit about all of those factors in this particular scenario. First of all, the news goes something like this: Chelsea are looking at a deal for Atletico Madrid Joao Felix on an initial loan to bolster Graham Potter's attack for the second half of the season. Now, a lot of people are like, yeah, loan, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Like myself, yeah, 100%. For me, loan, purchase, whatever. Like I'm all on board for Joao Felix in January because he's one of the very few top talented attackers in world football right now who's available to purchase. If you look at someone that Chelsea can target, a lot of people have been talking about Rafael Leao. I don't think Rafael Leao is possible in January. Most likely in summer, just not in January. This guy, the situation at the moment with Atletico is he doesn't get utilized. Diego Simeone and him, they've fallen apart with each other. Whether that's got to do with, I don't know, Diego Simeone simply doesn't like the way Joao Felix operates. Maybe without the ball, Diego Simeone does want someone who's a bit of a workhorse off the ball. But then again, I don't think Joao Felix is not a workhorse. I think there are certain players, attackers, that you think, okay, you know what, maybe you can have a little bit of a leeway because they're not going to give you that much off the ball. For instance, Rafael Leao, perhaps, I feel like his off-the-ball work rate needs to improve. Joao Felix, on the other hand, I think his work rate isn't that bad. But at the end of the day, some of these attackers, you want them to be an outlet. You don't want them to be so deep in your half, defending away, numerous times. When it comes to attack, they're all spent. Their energy is gone. So you don't want that at all. You want them to be an outlet in attack. And then obviously with possession, you want them to really showcase their talent. So from that perspective, he's one of the very few talented players in world football right now who doesn't want to play for his football club, Atletico Madrid. And Atletico Madrid are in a situation where they've got 3 more years left after this particular season, and they've paid a handsome amount of money to get him from Benfica, I believe. And yeah, they're in a situation where they're going to have to let go of him. So this is why I'm very excited to get him. Now, a few people are a little bit annoyed with this situation because apparently there could be an obligation to buy. So not just loan, but an obligation to buy after. Now, for me, once again, I don't care. He's a very the obligation to buy apparently is 120 million. That's what's getting touted around. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit as well. First of all, you need to ask yourself some questions. is his skill set, is his attacking prowess not worthy enough for that level of money? I completely think it is. He brings certain element to attack that I don't think any of our current players really possesses that. We saw that being showcased in the World Cup. We saw that previously for Atletico Madrid as well, last season specifically, on that particular patch of games where Diego Simeone surprisingly was using Joao Felix on a more attacking sense. And then we, of course, saw that in Benfica as well. So from that perspective, doesn't he have that value? Isn't he worth it? I completely think he's worth it. He's one of the top footballers out there that, for me, makes complete sense to pay that level of money. Now, in regards to that money, I don't think it will be 120 million. So first of all, I've clarified that I don't care whether it's 120 million or not, because I think he's completely worth it. Secondly, I don't think it's going to be 120 million. You look at the situation, and you also have to understand his agent is George Mendes. So there'll be a connection between Todd Bowley and George Mendes from that regards. So hopefully they can strike a bit of a deal. Secondly, this situation, as I've said, the player doesn't want to stay in Atletico Madrid, and Atletico Madrid aren't using him either. This isn't the West Ham Rice situation where, Declan Rice plays for West Ham, and West Ham are reluctant to sell him as well, but they understand that he needs to go on. I just noticed, and I've been sidetracked a little bit. I'll come back to it. West Ham's just got a penalty. I'm watching West Ham versus Arsenal at the moment. Said Ben Rama stepping up to take this. This is going to be a very, very big lead for West Ham, man, and we'll definitely talk about this down the track. Just need to quickly check this out, man. Hang in there with me, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see if this is a goal or not. This is going to be a big factor if West Ham actually gets his goal. Oh, and it is 1-0 for West Ham. Wow. A little bit side topic there. But yeah, coming back to the whole Atletico Madrid situation and Joao Felix, as I said, this isn't the same as the West Ham Rice situation where, Rice continuously plays for West Ham. West Ham doesn't want him to leave, but West Ham understands that Declan Rice, desires or has a mission to play for a top club. In this case scenario for Joao Felix doesn't want to play for Atletico Madrid, and Atletico Madrid doesn't use Joao Felix. So that leverage for Atletico Madrid should not be there. 120 million, we should be able to negotiate and go, hey, you don't have the power to dictate terms here. It's either you let go of this player on a bargain or you just keep paying his wages. And I'm pretty sure his wages are going to be quite astronomical. So look, this loan situation, it's much like that Lukaku scenario that we have. We weren't using Lukaku, and Lukaku doesn't want to be part of Chelsea Football Club. So why is this any different for Joao Felix? So look, that's how I look at it. Now, some people, once again, as I said, are not completely convinced by this particular player. Some are saying that I think he's not going to be able to suit the physicality of the Premier League. And I'm like, why? Why is that? Why would you think like that? He comes from Benfica. He comes from a Portuguese background. Are Portuguese players like some sort of, like pushovers? Like last time I looked at the Premier League, Portuguese players have done really well in the Premier League and have done well at Chelsea Football Club as well. So I don't, in Benfica, like the Portuguese league, it's not some sort of a Mickey Mouse league, man. Like, have you seen how Porto play? How physical they are? Have you seen how physical Atletico Madrid are? How their whole game plan is all about physicality. Look, there will be a time of adaptation. There's no doubt about that. But I think eventually enough, Joao Felix is smart enough to realize exactly what needs to be done. So, and I'm sure he'll have the right coaching people around him. He'll have the right players in the sense of Sterling and so on and so forth. Who'll tell him exactly how you need to adapt to this brutal league. Now, why do I think he's good and why do I think he's going to work out? Because I feel like I picture him someone who could possibly play in the left inside role, but maybe potentially come into the central area just behind a striker. That's where we lack so much creativity, and I think he's going to bring that. That's for me is a bit of a game changer. One of our biggest issues, we don't create enough chances, mate. We honestly don't create chances after chances after chances. People laugh at Darwin Nunez and the amount of chances he misses, but you see Liverpool fans, they're so perturbed about it. They don't care. The only reason they don't care is they at least produce 10 chances per match, and if Nunez misses 3 or 4, but they end up scoring 3 anyway, they don't really care. With Chelsea Football Club, when we had Timo Werner, the issue was the fact that we didn't create enough, and then when we did create, he missed. So we need a particular player that's going to be able to create time in, time out. And I think someone like Joao Felix will provide for that, will definitely chip in with goals as well. My only issue is the word that's getting touted around is that Havertz is probably going to be moved into the striking position. And we'll look into this. Let's have a quick look at the remaining news of this particular topic. Chelsea are looking at a deal for Atletico Madrid, Joao Felix on an initial loan to bolster Graham Potter's attack for the second half of the season. Further goes on to say Potter's targets for January include a centre-back to compete for first team place, but a winger is high on the agenda to support an attack that has scored 17 goals in the Premier League this season. There you go. We'll come back to that centre-back situation as well. Lots happening there, you guys already know. Chelsea considering a loan with an option of obligation to buy in the summer. With an option or obligation to buy in the summer, depending on the terms Atletico wants for Felix's departure after the Portugal international's 4 seasons in Madrid. He's already had 4 seasons and still 3 more seasons left. While Chelsea's rivals have been monitoring Felix, Chairman Todd Bowley is believed to be willing to move swiftly for a deal. Felix would compete as a left-sided forward who can also play on the right with Kai Havertz in the frame to play as a centre forward. See, this is where whoever's saying this, that's where I have a bit of a disagreement. I would rather use Aubameyang, but I have a slight feeling Graham Potter probably doesn't fancy Aubameyang so much. I don't know why I feel like that, because if you guys remember, was it Brighton or was it Arsenal? Well, not Arsenal, maybe it was Brighton, like where he was an unused sub, Aubameyang. So, I'm not really entirely sure how much Graham Potter really fancies Aubameyang. I think he really rates Havertz, and he probably rates him as a striker as well. We've all seen exactly what Kai brings as a striker. I don't think he brings enough. But if he can prove us wrong, why not? And if someone of the caliber of Joao Felix that can help him sort of prove us all wrong, then why not? Let's do it. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you feel about this Joao Felix situation. I absolutely love it. And I would love to see it done in January. This is one of the highly possible scenarios that can happen in January. Any other top players, I don't think is happening. And I know some of you guys were, well, we have to go with top players. Look, yeah, there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a good balance of gems and top players, top calibrated players that are ready to rock and roll straight away. I know there's a lot of stuff that Badad Egbali has said recently, which we'll touch on in a live sometime later on. But there needs to be a balance, man. Ready-made stars and gems. You can't have all gems and then just throw them in there, or all use and throw them in there. You've got to have some ready-made players as well. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, more on Benoît Badiashile. I hope I've pronounced this right. First of all, this news came from David Ornstein, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This happened maybe 2 days ago. Chelsea aim to sign centre-back literally out of nowhere. I know this particular centre-back we've been linked with a while back. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we've been linked with so many centre-backs. Eventually, one is going to hit and everyone's going to say, oh, this was, it was linked with Chelsea. Chelsea was linked with almost every centre-backs out there. Current priority, Benoît Badiashile, CFC in talks with Monaco for 21-year-old. Vardy, personal terms agreed last window, but price too high. Ndika, Hincapié, among other Jan summer options. I think the reason why we're going for Benoît Badiashile now is I think we've given up on Vardy and the price tag and the fact that there's no way we're going to be competing against Man City or Real Madrid. That's probably where he's going to go, and they're going to pay. And there was reports recently that Leipzig wants in excess of 100 million euros, 100 million pounds. They know they've got a superstar defender. And I don't know if Chelsea wants to compete in that front. Benoît Badiashile comes in about 30 million euros or 30 million pounds, something like that. Much, reasonable price. And let's have a look at the news before we give you my opinion. To be honest, I've not really been following Badiashile. Don't have too much to say about him. I don't know what to expect from him. All I know is a left-sided centre-back. He's an alternative to Vardiol. We know what Vardiol is capable of. Badiashile plays for Monaco. He's young, 21-year-old, I believe. I mean, does he come in and just start for Chelsea Football Club? I don't know. We'll talk about all of this. More on Benoît Badiashile deal. Talks are well advanced also on a player's side, as French centre-back is open to join Chelsea in January. Long-term deal has been discussed. And look, this is happening, ladies and gentlemen. David Oinstein, I read the article. Chelsea are possibly going to make this happen in January. Like, it's literally just days away now. We're well advanced in this situation. Chelsea are working to get deals sealed with AS Monaco as soon as possible. There you go. Badiashile looks like a unit, man. Benoît Badiashile is viewed as an aggressive player who can fit comfortably into a 3 or a 4-man defense and give Chelsea manager Graham Potter the flexibility he desires for tactical switches. Absolutely fine. I mean, these days, you need that flexibility. Now, in regards to Badiashile, how do I feel about him? What do I feel about him? What do I know about him? To be honest, I don't know too much about him. All I know is French, plays for Monaco, young, left-sided defender, aggressive. I've seen some clips of him. I've seen some footage of him in Monaco, but not too much to give you any type of opinion. But from what I've read and seen on social media, people are hyped, very hyped. And this is a 30 million pounds, euros, I believe, one or the other deal. So your those bargain purchases, I suppose, or your gems that you can potentially say he's 21, he could turn out to be a gem, and he's got room to improve. Now, a lot of people are saying that, what does it mean for Koulibaly? Is that the end of him? I'm thinking, look, man, Koulibaly, yes, he's been struggling, but we can't just get rid of every experience out there. I know recently another report, which I said we'll touch on, that Badad Egbali, our owner's vision is to have under 24s, Chelsea to be an under 24, like the squad have an average age of under 24. You can't just have young players drive you for success. You do need to have experience. You can't disregard experience. Now, I'm not saying influx the team with over 25s or up to 30-year-olds non-stop. No, you do need. Imagine if the average squad age was less than 25 or less than 24, and apparently one of the other things that I saw from the new owners is that they're not going to fancy too many of the over 30 free agents. Imagine what would have happened with Thiago Silva. We would have missed out on a player like Thiago Silva. He was over 30 when we got him. So you need experience. And you know how much of a blessing Thiago Silva has been for Chelsea Football Club. So experience is something you can't buy, man. You can't. It's invaluable, man. So you need to understand there has to be a good balance between youth and experience. You can't just influx the entire team. So look, I would still expect Koulibaly to stick around, but maybe the future is that Thiago Silva probably won't stick around after this season. Azpilicueta probably will move on as well. That would leave Wesley Fofana, Chalobah, Koulibaly, Badiashile, Benoît Badiashile, and then don't forget Levi Colwill, who's been doing really well. He's now started 4 matches in a row for Brighton. Some of you guys are like, oh, Miz, Colwill doesn't even start for Brighton. Well, he is now. So something to think about from that perspective. And if we go with the 2 CBs, that's potentially 5 CBs then, without Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta. So Wesley Fofana, Chalobah, Koulibaly, Benoît Badiashile, Levi Colwill. Hopefully he comes back. I'm pretty sure he will come back. And if you want to go with a back 3, you're still going to have to remain with two players that you can use in CB positions. And not to forget, you can potentially use Cucurella as well at times as LCB, which gets a bit interesting as well in the back 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you feel about Benoît Badiashile and, of course, the Joao Felix news. A little bit of sidetrack that we've had with West Ham versus Arsenal as well. West Ham leading 1-0 against Arsenal, which is great. I want Arsenal to drop points. I'm very keen to see how Declan Rice plays in this match. So far, actually, he's been pretty good. More and more, I'm starting to sort of warm up to the fact that he's potentially going to be a Chelsea player one day. And do you know what? If he can keep producing these sort of performances, why not? But I want to see exactly second half, because first half, I've been doing the video with you guys. I've not really been focusing on the match, so I don't know exactly how Rice has been playing. But obviously, West Ham winning 1-0, which is great. I want to see Arsenal go down the drain. Absolutely go down the drain. A nice interception by Declan Rice just before we finish things off. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. And thank you to each and every one of you guys that have honestly given me best wishes to recover quickly. And because of you guys, I'm back here. Thank you. See ya.